Hey everybody, welcome back to some more early morning barking, talking about BPD and NPD by somebody that has both. If you find the video useful, don't forget to hit the like button and the subscribe button and any other buttons at all. Before we start today, I have a prepared statement that I need to read out to everybody. To those of you who saw my Halloween special, I have to say the following. I have never performed any sort of ritual to summon any kind of demon or used any kind of possessed doll to torment anybody. The things you never expect to have to say. But anyway, so today we're actually here to talk about something. And that thing today is imposter syndrome. So this comes from so many different places, right? We're all ending up at the same destination, and there are so many different journeys to take us there. And so if imposter syndrome is something that you have from time to time, I want to make it very clear right now that I'm talking about it from the perspective of somebody with NPD. How you got to there might be entirely different. And by no means do I wish to imply that everybody who feels any sort of imposter syndrome has arrived there via narcissism and NPD. Okay? This is something that comes from so many different places because it takes on so many different forms. It's worrying that you don't belong where you are in some way. It's quite simple. It's that I'm not clever enough for this job. I can't play well enough to be in this band. I'm not hot enough to be at this orgy. All kinds of possible things where you feel that you're in some way not worthy of being where you are. And the way I found that it comes out from a narcissistic point of view, for me, you may differ. Again, I'm not trying to impose my own issues on you guys. The way it comes out for me is a very sort of classic worry that I've tricked people somehow into believing that I'm a much nicer person than I actually am. And this comes from a number of different places for me. My phone pads are falling off the wall. That's distracting me. So the worry that I'm going to trick people into thinking that I'm a nicer person than I am, that I'm a good person when I'm not. Let's ask a couple of questions of that and really analyze it, because this is important stuff, right? I'm worried that I'm not a good person. Can we ask the question to start with then, what's a good person? I think that's a fairly important definition to be able to throw out in this circumstance. If I'm worried that I'm not a good person, I should be able to tell you what a good person is and why I consider myself to not be one. Right? This particular situation, a good person to me is somebody that doesn't hurt anybody. Because of my own past experiences, I've hurt people. I have done bad things that I am thoroughly ashamed of. And stuff that I can't even bring myself to talk about on here. And as I talked about in the episode about getting back out into the world, this is a major concern. I don't want to ever hurt anybody ever again in any situation ever for any reason. I am desperate to never hurt anybody. I can't quite put it into words. No phrasing that I can come up with seems adequate to explain how much I don't ever want to hurt anybody. And yet, I feel this guilt still, this fear, this constantly running problem. What if I am somebody that hurts people? What if there's just nothing I can do to stop it? What if I'm a bad person? What if every time somebody says they like me or they think I'm a good person, they're only saying that because they don't really know me. They don't know the things in my past. They don't know what lives inside me that I keep under control on a daily basis. And they don't understand to what degree I keep it under control on a daily basis. That every word that comes out of my mouth is carefully considered. Every action, every thought, all of it constantly under control. And I worry that doing that creates this false impression of a good person. Somebody that people actually like and want to get to know. But it feels like I'm hiding all of this other stuff just beneath the surface that could come out at any minute. And I'm scared to death of that. And that fear is what keeps that tight, constant control in place. And that thought process, this line of logic of being so desperate to not hurt anybody, eventually led me to the more positive conclusion that I arrived at. That helped me a lot. Right? There are people with narcissistic behaviors that don't care about hurting people. There are people with narcissistic behaviors that enjoy hurting people. People who rate very highly on psychopathy. And I'm not one of those people. I am, as I say, desperate to never hurt anybody. And the conclusion that takes me to is that if I am so concerned with not hurting anybody, if the concept of tricking people causes me so much worry and anxiety, does that not in itself indicate that I am a good person? Isn't that what really makes a good person? Somebody that just doesn't want to ever hurt anybody. That at their core is this attitude of caring and love and a desire to put positive feelings out into the world. On top of that, we heap personality disorders and other mental health problems that cover all of that and muddy it and make it difficult for us to tell who we are at our core inside. And we worry that that person inside is a bad person. And if you go on YouTube and look at videos about narcissism, they're all about what horrible people we are and how much we enjoy hurting people and how much we set out to do that. And these are videos made by people who have encountered these high psychopathy scoring people who do set out to do that. And they've been hurt and they lump us all in. But the truth is, the really difficult thing for people to accept is that for the majority of us, hurting people is the worst thing to us. Not even more so than it is to neurotypical people. Because for neurotypical people, hurting people can be more of a choice. I've never done it on purpose. I've never set out to hurt somebody emotionally. And yet, time and time again in my life, I've somehow managed it. And it at first feels like it comes from within. Maybe I'm a bad person. Maybe I can't stop hurting people. And then you realize, yeah, you can stop hurting people. That's not you. That's not coming from within. That's something that has been lumped on. It's a weight you're carrying. This NPD or whatever got you to this destination of fearing that you're going to end up tricking people. The truth is, if you're tricking people, you know you're doing it. You know you're that person who can do that, who feels that rush of superiority and power by manipulating people. And it's a big rush. It's a big feeling. I get it. I really do. And if you're feeling that, you know you're feeling it, right? So if you're questioning this, if you're even able to ask yourself, am I tricking people into thinking a good person? Then I think you are a good person. I think you are. I think at worst you might have some problems that you need to deal with, some things that you need to get over. Maybe you need to see somebody. And I always recommend seeing somebody if you can. Even if it's something you think is small, if it's something that is causing you mental anguish in some way, see somebody. But it doesn't mean you're a bad person. And I think we all know that, really. It's that desire to hurt, the being okay with hurting. That's the divider for me on whether or not you're a good person. And the truth is, most people are. You probably are. I don't know you, but you probably are. So whatever you encountered to bring you to this thing, to this place, I recommend that you start looking for evidence in yourself. This takes a great deal of personal reflection and looking inside and really asking yourself what kind of person you are. Because I think you know the answer to that, really. It might be buried under a lot of crap. There might be so much shit you have to dig through. But if you've reached that level of self-awareness, you can start asking these questions of yourself. What is it you're really afraid of? And if you have experience in the past of doing these things that you don't want to do, you can look at this behavior, you can analyze it. What did I do when I hurt that person? And cross it off your list as a form of acceptable behavior. And you can start to move forward. You can start to see that path to how you can exist without ever hurting anybody. It's totally doable. I really believe it is. I have to believe it is. Because the alternative is unacceptable. I will not go through my life hurting people. I will not do that again. And the only way I can do that is by having that faith in myself that at heart, that underneath all the crap that I deal with and keep under control, there is a good person here who is horrified at the thought of hurting anybody. I'm almost tearful as I'm saying this about the idea of hurting somebody emotionally. It terrifies me more than anything else. And it's unacceptable that it can ever happen again. I will not allow that. Because underneath all this shit is a good person. Just like you. The truth is, can you trick people into thinking you're a good person? I believe you can. I believe that's possible. I believe that a really high-scoring, intense narcissist could do that. But not without knowledge. Not without setting out to do it. Not without thinking ahead of time, I'm going to trick these people into thinking X, Y, and Z. The worry in itself is the indication that you are a good person. There'll be proof of that, you know. There'll be things in your life that you can point to, people that you can talk to who agree that you are a good person. And you have to latch onto these things and believe these people when they tell you these things. Because it's probably true, right? You can't trick everybody all of the time. And you especially can't do it when you're not actively trying to. So you're questioning. You can get through it. You can do it. And you can settle on this belief that you're a good person. Because when you really look, there's so much evidence for it. And when you really look inside yourself and you see that panic at not being a good person, you can realize that just the fact that you care says that you are. The fact that you're trying, the fact that you know being a bad person is wrong, is the first step. And the rest is just practice. The rest is just identifying behaviors and eliminating them. And once you reach that point, it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time before you can return to this state of balance in your own mind, that knowledge that you're a good person. I hope that helps. So, take care. I'll see you later.